So we've been hearing a lot about sort of the structure and the processes that we have in place to drive innovation in our organization. But you may have heard the expression, culture eats strategy for lunch. And this applies to innovation. So if you want to have innovation in an organization, it's not enough to be just focused on strategy in a large organization. You need to be building a culture that supports and embraces innovation. At Boston Children's Hospital, we do this by focusing on education, on community, providing resources, and really trying to create an environment where risk and failure are accepted because they're a big part of innovation. So I want to ask the panelists, and I'll take volunteers to the order this time, what you're doing to enhance the innovation culture within your organization.
So I'll start. So innovation is one of our core cultural values, and as a result we invest significantly in human capital around innovation and financial resources. We also look to bring innovation to all levels of our organization, and one of the seminal events that we have been able to roll out is an annual Innovation Day at United Healthcare, and we're in our third year running now. And Innovation Day takes place in the spring at our corporate offices in Minneapolis. And through that event, we're able to bring employees from all over the organization to hear about innovative new concepts that are being developed. We expose them to different educational opportunities where they learn about concepts like human-centered design and design thinking. We bring in thought leaders from across the company as well as from external resources. Last Innovation Day we had Guy Kawasaki come and talk to us about the art of the start. So that event has really, I think, resonated with our employees, and we've really seen them come and hear and be inspired and go back to their day jobs and start activities off the side of their desk that they're really passionate about, because this just was such a motivational event. And then another thing that we have invested in is rolling out innovation challenges, which we do at Innovation Day in conjunction with that event, but we also make those available throughout the year. We have an annual Hemsley Challenge, so Steve Hemsley, our CEO, puts a challenge forth to all of our employees. That's a big, meaty problem in our industry, and we have an electronic platform that our employees can use to ideate around that problem, and then the most promising ideas are selected for advancement. So those are just a few ways that we're trying to ingrain innovation into our culture at United Healthcare.
Well, I like all of those ideas. I think we at Children's do some of the same things. We have an Innovation Day. I don't know, do you guys also have innovation? Yeah, this is becoming sort of, I think, part and parcel with how you support innovation and, put challenges. We heard from Brian Civic this morning about what the government's doing to try to put out challenges to stimulate innovation. So I think we're starting to learn that there's certain tools that really work across organizations and not just in healthcare. But so other comments on how you're driving innovation, an innovation culture in your organization?
I can say a few things. So we don't call it Innovation Day, but we do a very big conference every year, a 2-day event where we put a lot of focus on what's happening outside of our organization and bring in a number of external speakers to educate people and really get people excited about the potential and opportunities and really highlight. We have an awards program, and it ties into our annual conference. So every quarter we recognize 5 key innovations or projects that represent innovative behaviors across the organization, and it's recognized by the senior leadership team across the organization. And then at our conference, we actually do an Oscars where we take all of the winners from across the year, and we recognize the projects that really are emblematic of what we're trying to deliver with innovation. And I think it really helps. I think there was some comment earlier about the importance of recognition and making people feel as if they're being recognized for the efforts, whether it's ultimately successful from a business standpoint or represents a successful failure in terms of being able to learn from that experience. So we do a lot of that. But the one thing we really struggle with, and I would have to say culture is probably one of the biggest barriers to driving innovation further within our organization. And we always talk about the kind of hypocrisy that on the clinical side of our business, the culture around innovation is so strong because it's so core to that organization being successful. So the idea of it being okay to fail and learning from that failure is so core to what we do in research and development, yet it's so not accepted from a commercial aspect within our business. And so we're trying to see how we can better capitalize and in a way learn from ourselves. How can we take some of the elements that help drive and support that culture in that part of our organization and carry it over to the other parts?
I think your academic medical center also has that same element, doesn't it, Peter? That there are people that are very innovative, but it doesn't translate always across the organization, and that's we need folks like you to sort of catalyze that. So talk a little bit about your innovation culture and how you get it to sort of permeate the whole organization.
Again, Naomi and I do work and you do the research side of your organization, also everybody else's organization is this way. One of the things that we're particularly interested in is the behavioral aspects of encouraging innovation to take place. And in an open source world where great ideas can come from anywhere, we want to encourage everyone to contribute and participate. We call it, and there's a certain leadership behavior that goes along with that. We call it being more like a galaxy and less like a star. So we want decisions and communications less like a hub and spoke model and more like a dense network. One of the things that we're experimenting with is actually the science of tracking this, and some colleagues from the MIT Media Lab and the Sloan School at MIT and our team are working with using our email to track our own behavior and our communication patterns. We use it as sort of what we call a virtual mirror, where we feed back to the members of an innovation team what their actual communication looks like, not what they say their communication looks like. And it's been very influential, actually, for the members of the team to learn about the ways that they're communicating, and we're observing some changes in their behavior just as a result of actually having the actual data feedback.
Fabulous. Paul?
Not too different than everybody else, I think, on the panel. Culture is an issue with innovation, especially if you're in more of a traditional company. So one of the things I would say, culture trumps strategy, but leadership trumps culture. So we spend a lot of time, and I hate to beat this horse, but communicating. And it's communicating at the executive level of what innovation is and what it's not, so that you don't get in that situation where, what have you done for me lately? And people don't understand that failure is okay, or that you're trying a lot of things and you're piloting a lot of things. So we spend a lot of time communicating. We spend a lot of time doing quarterly newsletters. We spend a lot of time showing our roadmap to the people in the company. We've instituted a crowdsourcing software so that the employees will all contribute their ideas into a crowdsourcing platform, and those ideas get voted on. We tee up challenges, just like what was said here before. We have an award that we do every quarter. It's an innovation award. We have an innovation council, which is representatives from across the company sit on and vote. And of course, if you're from Pittsburgh, we're a big hockey town, so we actually have a very large trophy that gets passed around to the individuals who win the innovation challenge, and their name gets engraved just like the Stanley Cup. So that's gone a long way to kind of introduce what innovation is and what it isn't, and the level of expectation. But culture change that's a long haul, and I really believe that an innovation group has to be within the company. And so we're really concerned about not being seen as a skunk works group, that we're connected to the business, that the business knows what we're doing, because the only way you're going to change the culture is actually to be in the culture. And so we're very concerned about making sure everybody knows why we're doing what we're doing, so we can get feedback on what we're doing. So all those innovation days and lunch and learns, and it's all about communication right now for us.